We are going live now on YouTube. Okay. A very good morning to one and all. I am Arpita, the moderator for today's session from the IGCP group. The topic that we are going to discuss today is solving vaccination myths. Now, solving vaccination myths addresses common misconception about vaccines, providing clear evidence-based explanations to dispel falsehoods. This topic covers the science behind vaccines, their safety, efficacy, and the importance of immunization for public health. It aims to educate and reassure individuals, promoting informed decision making and fostering trust in vaccination programs to protect communities from preventable diseases. Yes, to share his knowledge on this topic, we have with us Professor Dr. Sunil Kumar Agarwala, sir. Sir is someone very eminent from the field. Still, I need to introduce him to the audiences. So, sir is a professor at the Department of Pediatrics. Has completed MBBS and MD. He is the recipient of numerous awards, including the Chikitsak Ratan Award and the Pioneer Award in 2009. He has special interest in pediatric neurology, infectious disease, and HIV. He has published many Indian and international journals. So, sir, with this introduction of yours, I would now request you to please start with the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Arpita, for kind introduction. I must thank whole IJCP group, who is now leading healthcare communication group as regard medical science dissemination is concerned. So, good afternoon, dear all doctors. I must thank those who have logged in this busy schedule to discuss on a particular topic and which is close to my heart, that is vaccinology science. Dear doctors, there are many myths in vaccination science which is still prevailing in our community. So let's join together, putting our hand together so that we can solve many of these vaccination myths, which are really myths and they are not true facts. So let's go one by one. So here, debunking common myths about vaccines and immunization will be the topic today we are going to discuss. Many news and nowadays many social media, there are so many news are coming up how to go about this. So that is the topic of interest and discussion today. We'll be going with that. Always without knowing the fact about the news, we should not just forward to any other group, because nowadays a message from Europe or America to India, it takes only 1 second because of World Wide Web that we all know. So we are not interested to propagate myths, rather we are interested to know the facts, and these facts has to be disseminated among the community people for the best interest of the community. So vaccination, a lot of facts and fictions are there. So for an example, some myths we can discuss. Let's take one. Vaccines are just for kids. It's a myth. Now everybody knows that the COVID vaccine started from the 60-year onwards, then it come down from 45 to 60, then it come down to 18 to 45, and thereafter 12 to 18. That means vaccine is a very necessity for any age group. So that's why no age is a bar for vaccination. Coming to another myth, vaccine preventable disease outbreak doesn't occur anymore. It's also because it's also a myth. Why? We never know what kind of flu can go in a pandemic form or in epidemic form, that we never propagate or we never predict that. And that's the reason flu vaccination is a must in cold countries like Europe and America. There is another myth, vaccines are not safe. I'll tell, all vaccines are safe, starting from animal study, then phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 trial. Then only it is getting a licensure to be used in human population in larger interest. All vaccines are safe, but it means that type 1 anaphylaxis kind of reaction can occur in million and billion, that is, but always we have to weigh between the benefit and loss, or benefit and whatever AEFI negligible is there, we have to divide that, and for the larger interest of the community, we have to go with the vaccination. Prevention is out of my control, so that means timely vaccines definitely protect a lot of disease. For an example, more than 50 years, if you are inoculated with a herpes zoster vaccine, and we know a lot of adults they used to come with post-herpetic neuralgia and jeopardizing their day-to-day activities and not allowing them to do their normal activities. So that's why herpes zoster two doses. That means zero and another is 1 to 6. I mean 2 doses of human herpes zoster vaccine recombinant that is recommended. You can't get vaccinations while pregnant. It's not true. There are two vaccines which are very essential. One is T containing vaccine Tdap and Td, and another is flu vaccine, which is a mandate for each and every pregnant woman in office practice, so that we may not give complete protection to the baby, but because of cocooning effect and because of this indirect benefit, the antibodies travel via the placenta to the baby, and it protect in the early part of life from neonatal pertussis up to 6 weeks, and and early infancy flu till 6 month age group. So there are many myths are going on, but only one word: vaccination is the best when it is inoculated inside the body. That means it is the best way of intervention, or you can say invention, in the 20th century, and that is the best proof has been done in this world by COVID pandemic. We never were accustomed with the COVID antigen, and that new virus came into, and we have proven that the vaccination 220 crore doses plus has been utilized in India, and all the vaccine antigen has been manufactured in India by Serum and Bharat Biotech, and Covishield and Covaxin. They have been used more than 220 crore doses, and we can able to save lot of lives. And in that segment, we, the largest manufacturer of vaccine in India now, 70% of the consumes whatever vaccine is consumed that is being produced in India as of now. So that is a great pride for all of us, and definitely we should be ambassador of propagating this message that whenever the kids are there at the right time, the right inoculation of the vaccine to be given, so that once they are entering into the probable affecting zone, for an example, in the preschool age period, they should be having a good immunity to fight against infection. When the now you see that the rainy season is now knocking at the door, the summer is going out, so there is monsoon maladies like hepatitis A, like diarrhea, like dysentery, like you can say flu. All those things will come up, dengue will come up, but there are so many diseases can be prevented by vaccine, and that is the most important part we can prevent. Always it is said that prevention is better than cure. So if the diseases are being prevented by NIP or by IAP immunization schedule, let's join hand in hand and we can prevent all the vaccine preventable diseases in our community. So vaccines are for children only. Adolescent and adults don't need them. It is a myth already I told. Adults are far more likely than children, because by the time of adults or adolescent or geriatric population, whatever immunity is there, due course of time that immunity wanes. In immunological immaturity in the beginning of the life, and immunosenescence do occur in older age group. So that's why even if memory cells are there, mounting up B cell or T cell to the antigen may wane. So that's the reason we need some of the diseases like tetanus toxoid containing vaccines like Tdap or Td. They need booster every 10 years, and there are certain vaccines. For an example, if we have not taken PCV pneumococcal conjugate vaccine, it is to be given 50 years plus, and 65 years plus PCV is a must, and annual flu vaccination. That means the one line message is that any age is not a bar to be prevented by a vaccination. And thing is that whatever vaccination has to be given at particular recommended age group, that is to be given. By chance, if the age group has missed out, then definitely we can catch them and we can give the vaccination which is known as catch-up immunization. So coming to one by one particular vaccine. So let's start with myth number one. BCG uptake means there must be a scar. No, will not agree to this statement. Scar formation may take 6 months or more. 10% population, they may not have scar. Absence of scar doesn't mean that there is no protection. It has been seen that T cell migration or IGRA test is positive in them, those who have not developed scar. But however, now new purple guideline says that if scar is not there, we can repeat the BCG after 6 months. But if after second BCG there is no scar formation, there is no point of repeating BCG. So that means even if scar is not there, that doesn't equate with non-mounting of the response to the BCG antigen which is not true. But however, the new guideline says one BCG can be offered after 6 months. Now, coming to the myth number two, pertussis vaccine protect for lifetime. Now we have seen Mexico and previously in some part of the world there are outbreak of pertussis. There are a lot of debates were going on that because they developed countries they are using Asella pertussis in their primary series. India and other developing countries they use wholesale pertussis, and that's the reason the outbreak do occur in them, but not in India. That's not true because in India also we are getting a lot of pertussis cases at the age of 5 years and 10 years. Those who have missed the booster, and that's the reason pertussis do not protect for lifetime. If primary series are completed, then 1.5 years, 5 years, 10 years, and 16 years booster is a must. It provides good levels of protection within the first few years after getting the vaccine. Then protection wanes over time. Not only for pertussis, the diphtheria, tetanus, everything. Because they are bacterial vaccine, so antibody titer goes down. So you have to boost it so that more and more antibody will be protective titer will be there. Regular booster as a role. So individual primed with WP having a little edge over AP. So that means that however you are primed with a cellular or W doesn't matter, you have to go for regular booster. And once it is being given either TDAP or TD, then it is valid for 10 years. But if you have any dirty wound or contaminated wound by soil or dirt or mud, then definitely after 5 years, one booster has to be given within 10 years. So that means for minor wounds, it is being protecting for 10th year. So that's why it is otherwise known as DPT containing vaccine or otherwise known as decennial vaccine. Every 10 years, one has to go for this T containing vaccine. So pertussis doesn't protect for lifetime. Another, the pertussis, let you tell diphtheria or tetanus cases, even if they recovered from the parent disease, they do not have mount the response, antibody for lifelong or protection for the lifelong. So that's why even if they recover from that disease, the immunization has to be given. So that means if a patient has recovered from that, the age-wise appropriate vaccination has to be offered, even they are recovered from the primary disease. So coming to the third myth, it's always better to take vaccine from private doctor by pay. Many doctors, they say that we are giving the best vaccine. Many patients, they feel that the private, you go to a private recognized or a reputed doctor in a community because he maintains the cold chain and everything. So I'll tell you the fact here. Only 9% vaccine are given in the private sector in India. Rest 91% are being managed by the National Immunization Program. I'll tell you, our NIP is the largest program, immunization program in the world, followed by the American Academy of Pediatrics or their immunization program. And we do cater near about 27 to 28 million bath cohort annually. We succeeded in COVID war. Already I have given example that more than 220 crore doses we have given in NIP only. And that is the reason our cold chain is not good enough to manage with minus 40 or minus 60 degrees centigrade. So that's why the Moderna vaccine or the Pfizer vaccine, this mRNA vaccine were not accommodated in our NIP or in our program in India. And we do well. We did well in our 2 to 8 degrees centigrade cold chain with serum or Bharat Biotech vaccine. And it gave a lot of confidence in our country that we can prepare a new antigen in our soil, and that can save a lot of population in not only in our country but also adjacent part of the world. So each one should trust that the NIP which provides the vaccine is having a good robust cold chain, because cold chain is known as the lifeline of the vaccine. If a vaccine is inoculated, if antigen is inoculated, if that antigen is not being kept from the manufacturing point till the end user, if the cold chain is 2 to 8 degrees centigrade is not maintained, so any cold exposure or heat exposure can damage the antigen. And that's the reason the 2 to 8 degrees centigrade has to be kept in all antigen. And the purpose is that in CSC, PSC, those Anganwadi Didis or ASA workers or ANMs, those who carry the vaccine in a vaccine carrier, so they took near about 30 to 40 doses in a vaccine carrier, and that is meant for one vaccination session. So once the vaccination not used, they will return back, but open vial policy, if some vaccine antigen is remained in the open vial, that has to be discarded at the end of the session. So that means the answer is that it is always better to go for any vaccination wherever it is available. let it be NIP or let it be private, doesn't matter. The vaccination, whatever is being given by both the stream, are very good and we can depend on them. Private vaccines are painless. Many a times you might be thinking that the educated elite group, they will come, doctor sahab, आप painless vaccine दीजिए. So what is this painless concept? Some vaccines are with less pain. Now I will tell dear doctors, don't tell it is a painless vaccine. Rather you tell it is a less pain vaccine. Like Asella pertussis oblique or comparison with WP. WP is given in the free of cost in the government sector as Penta or DPT. But whenever we are using in office practice, we love to give AP because arcellular pertussis is near about 1/3 of the AEFI, whatever the WP is going to give. So single versus multiple dose. Now you have seen that the PCV from biological E or serum that has been given in the NIP as a multiple dose. So you have to draw. So that multiple dose we should not use in our program, and always it is to be given as single dose. So because we always tear the tag and always we give single dose and we do not take the multiple doses that is to be utilized in our office practice. Community versus individual pest protection, whatever is there, that is a community perspective. We know 9 months and 1.5 years in NIP, that is MR vaccine. There is no inclusion of the mumps component. But for individual best protection, we are giving MMR vaccine. So always remember, in NIP, whatever vaccine has a placement, that is for the larger interest of the community, that is community oriented. That means the safety remains first in office practice. So whenever we are using that vaccine, the money is paid by the client. So we must know that must be good enough safe, and that is the best interest of the individual. So I will say the government sector is meant for the community, and this sector that is for the price oriented. If it is less price and having good benefit or apparent benefit, then we have to use that. But in office practice, that should be the best one. Low, very safety point of view, it should be very safe, and it is going to give the best out of the best protection to the individual. That is individual oriented. Cost comes first in the community, and safety comes first in this. So no vaccines are painless now. All the vaccines, whatever used, we can say they are having less pain. So now TTs are recommended in pregnancy, not TD. So that is a debate from tetanus toxoid and TD. I will tell you. Globally, this TT is no more available as of now. Every TT has been converted to TD because after measures elimination, not elimination, it is reduction. Our aim is to reduce the diphtheria as well. So the 2 doses of TD to be given in pregnancy, that is a standalone guideline. Every pregnant woman start after knowing the pregnancy positive, she should be inoculated with a TD dose, and 1 dose 1 month after. Either TD or in office practice, TDAP should be given in between the 27 to 36 weeks of gestation. Why it is to be given towards the latter age? Because the good amount of antibody will go via placenta to the baby, protecting the baby from neonatal pertussis till 6 weeks of delivery. So always we remember, now TT is no more available. Whatever T containing vaccine or dual antigen is available, that is TD. Even if after a injury in an adult, you write TT, the client is going to get TD. So this is a new thing you have to remember. Many a times, 10 years back or 20 years back, there was a hue and cry that MMR causes autism. Why this concept is there? Because autism usually starts after 1 year, and the baby or the child is not going to communicate with us, and eye connect will not be there. Very much they are irritable, and they are in their different world. They do not want to talk with us. So that is the reason. The beginning of the autism and the giving of MMR, that is a 15 month, that coincides. So Independent Institute of Medicine, that is IOM, reported in 2004, 20 years back, that there is no association of MMR or any measles containing vaccine or mumps containing vaccine with development of autism. So that has been clearly mentioned by CDC and WHO. So that's why MMR fully well can be given, and there is no fear of autism as regard to MMR is concerned. Don't give birth dose hepatitis B to a preterm baby 2 kilo. This was the line in previous IAP or ACVIP guideline. Now, at birth preterm baby below 2 kg is less immunogenic to hepatitis B, that everybody knows, and it was to be given, recommended in earlier that 1 month chronological age. But as latter 3 doses of hepatitis B is given as a part of I mean 6, 10, 14 weeks as a part of combo vaccine as of hexa or penta. So that's the reason the birth dose should be offered. Even if it is less immunogenic, it is not going to be counted. So birth dose to be given irrespective of less than or more than 2 kg, irrespective of preterm or term, that 2 kg business has gone. Coming to hepatitis A, the post-exposure prophylaxis has no role. No, this is a myth. Post-exposure prophylaxis has a definitive role and should be given as soon as possible within 2 weeks of exposure. That means if there is a hepatitis A outbreak is there, even single dose can prevent to the tune of more than 70%. And if the virus has already entered, then it will modify the course of the disease. So always remember PEP, I mean post-exposure prophylaxis in hepatitis A should be given as soon as possible within 2 weeks of exposure. Postpartum seronegative lactating women susceptible cannot be given varicella vaccine. If there is exposure of a lactating mother, then varicella cannot be given. This is myth again. Majority of live vaccines do not secrete in the breast milk. Therefore, varicella jolly well can be given 2 doses in 3 months apart in lactating mother. Only contraindication for the live vaccine is your yellow fever vaccine. We are not using yellow fever because this disease doesn't exist in India. But however, if you are planning to go to African countries, then you have to take this yellow fever vaccine from designated places across the Airport Authority of India, some hospital in India that is being recommended by Government of Health, and a certificate will be issued. So prior to travel, 2 weeks before this vaccine to be given, nowadays it is to be given single shot, no 10-year booster or second dose is not recommended. But the only contraindication is lactating, because theoretically, or there is a fear of, because the virus is secreted, then after secretion into the going into the baby, it may cause meningoencephalitis. That means yellow fever, meningoencephalitis. So that's the reason it is not recommended in a lactating mother. All kids need TCV booster by preschool age. Now, Purple Book says TCV do not need a booster. Any age group starting from 6 months till 45 years, you are going to give single dose only. And minimum age is 6 months. Now, question is that there are many immunization folders are being given by the pharma companies, and they mention the older one that there is a booster of, you see, 4 to 6 years, that is written as DPT, IPV, then MMR third dose, and chickenpox final dose, second dose. Now chickenpox has gone back to 18 months, and this TCV booster is there in many immunization folders. So now this is not needed because TCV one dose is enough. Now 7-year and 9-year study has come from Bharat Biotech in Tibba TCV that it has been given that because of sub-immunogenic, I mean a subclinical booster, once it is exposed again, that acts as a booster. So that is, as of now, it has been seen even after 7 years, 9 years, the antibody titer is far ahead from the seroprotective titer. So one dose extra is not needed. PCB not recommended 5 years and above. Yes. So that means not recommended means it is not recommended in normal host. If you are giving to a normal child, healthy child, immunological competent child, then it is 6 weeks to 5 years. That's all. But to be given to children with high risk condition. For an example, a sickle cell anemia patient diagnosed for the first time at the age of 7 years is going to have pneumococcal prevention. First, you give above 6 years 1 dose of PCV. 8 weeks later, you give pneumococcal polysaccharide. 5 years later, another pneumococcal polysaccharide to be given. Never more than 2 doses of polysaccharide to be given because of hypoimmune, or you can say immunological hyporesponsiveness. So that means, what does it mean? That PCV can be given beyond 5 years, but it is not recommended for healthy host. It is recommended for high-risk children, those who are having immunodeficiency, for an example, sickle cell, asplenia, or you can say hypocomplementemia, or those who are going for cochlear implant. Like those conditions, the PCV is recommended above 5 years. Presently, new PCV-10 only used in NIP. Then again, it is no. Now, 2 months back in April, the government of India has taken a MOU and they have produced Nibivax, that is from Biological E, which is an indigenous company in India. Now they produced this Nibivax PCV-14, and that has been supplied to the government in a 5-dose vial, and it has already been rolled over in our country. So there are 2 antigens are going on: one serum, that is Pneumocil PCV-10, and another PCV-14, which also contain 22F and 33F. Now, Rota vaccine not to be given beyond 8 months because of intersubscription. Yes, it is a caveat that rota vaccine is a vaccine which is given in a narrow window of opportunity. Now, NIP can be tells that it can be given up to 1 year. Usually, intersusception do occur after the first dose, not after the third dose. Intersusception is no more a threat. Now, if you go back, the Rotavac or Rotacil, whatever has been given in NIP for so many years, there are very nominal in single digit cases of intersusception has been recommended, that is at par with the background rate, and all of them never required surgery. They came out with the saline anemia. So it means that the fear which occurred in the rotacil in the 20th century towards last, which came first time in the US population. So at that point, there was a hue and cry because of the increment in the intersusception. That doesn't happen right now with available all rota vaccines, whatever is available in India. PCV14 do not contain 6A. So 6A protection is lacking. So what is the point on this? This is absolutely wrong. 6B in PCV14 is going to give indirect protection. 6A is such a bug, such a pneumococci which need very nominal amount of antibody. WHO recommend 0.35 microgram per ml is to be given or is to be there for the protection of almost all the serotypes, but the 6A it requires very it may be to the tune of zero point 0.1 or less. But whereas the 19A that requires very high titer. So it means that 6B indirectly gives some titer, which because 6A and 6B chemically they are almost equal with one hydroxy group difference. So that means if 6B is there, indirectly it protects. Now if you say 6A containing vaccine, if they protect against 6A to the tune of near about 78%, now this is going to prevent near to the tune of 70 to 72%. So that's why also it gives additional protection of 22F and 33F because it is the emerging serotype globally as well as in India. Now the CDC and the WHO tells that whatever new additional or high valency vaccines PCV is available or is going to be marketed in global market, they should contain 22F and 33F. Now, if I tell a news that in Western, the PCV13 has been replaced by PCV20, which also contain 22F and 33F. Now, Merck has been marketed PCV15 that also contain 22F and 33F. So in real life scenario, now in 2024, if any PCV is there, then that must contain 22F and 33F. In India, that attributes towards near about 3% diseases in the community. However, this is there inside this PCV14. So I will tell that during under 2 years, the best vaccine is in India to be given to our under 2 children is I will suggest that PCV14, and beyond 14 years, beyond 2 years, it is again come back to PCV13 is the best. Now, vaccinated dog do not transmit rabies. Now, every pet dog, the owner of the pet dog, they tell that my dog is vaccinated. Now, don't worry, even if there is a cut or something, nothing will happen. But see the truth. Rabies due to puppy bite less than 3 months has been reported. Why 3 months? Because the puppy less than 3 months, the vaccine is not to be given. It is given at the age of 3 months, and every year one booster is required. Now nobody goes for the antibody titer in the dog, so it is difficult to establish which dog has seroconverted. And 8% vaccinated dogs are not immune. So pet dog bite should be given ARV prophylaxis irrespective of pet's vaccination status. So there is no point of looking at whether the dog is vaccinated or not. You have to go for a post-exposure prophylaxis as per the category of bite. Observe the dog for 10 days, then decide post-exposure prophylaxis. Now I'll tell you, if the dog is a very strict dog, you cannot follow the dog, then in that case, what you are going to do, category of bite, accordingly, you go for post-exposure prophylaxis. But if it is a paid dog, you can follow up for 10 days. Then don't wait for PEP. It is not that 10 days the dog is going to survive, then you start or not start. That is not the answer. Observe only in case of pet dog. If dog is alive beyond 10, then you have given 0, 3, 7, 14 to 28. So 0, 3, 7, then you may not give the fourth one, and you complete the series then and there, and it is almost a pre-exposure prophylaxis a situation has arisen. Rest in all dog bites where dog is stray or cannot be traced, then full PEP is a must as per the category of bite. If a Case of class 3 white comes 1 year later, no paper is required. No. All rabies can present after a long incubation period, even after 1 year. But government of India tells because India is a hub of rabies, that's why they are strict. That is NCDC guidelines. Still, they are sticking to the 5 doses 0, 3, 7, 14, and 28, whereas the WHO and 2018 WHO and ACBIP as of now recommended 4 doses in office practice. But I'll tell you, in case of class 3 white, even up to 1 year, as per the category, you have to offer all, both immunoglobulin and as well as anti-rabies vaccine to be offered. As for Genvac, which is a J vaccine, no booster is needed. The company people are many a times saying it is wrong. Whatever may be the brand, which is an inactivated J vaccine, let it be G from biological E, or it is from Bharat Biotech, that is Genvac. Whatever may be the brand, 2 doses to be given. Minimum age is 1 month, and minimum gap is 1 month gap, and minimum age is 1 year, and gap 1 month has to be maintained. So as of now, there is no booster of J vaccine. Coming to another myth as regard to HPV, HPV affects only women and girls. So that's why HPV prevention means it is to be given to the girls. It is a myth. What is the fact then? HPV can affect anyone of any gender, race, and sexual orientation. It can lead to genital warts and various cancers such as cervical cancer, you can say vulval cancer, anogenital cancer, then penile cancer, scrotal cancer, even pulmonary, laryngeal cancer or laryngopulmonary cancer can occur due to HPV. So the minimum age has been kept as 9 years, and it is a recommended vaccine for both sexes. So that's the reason it is a gender neutral vaccine. So now we have came to know the prevention of HPV related cancers in men. So that's why any gender who gives HPV to a woman or a girl, it is a boy. So boy has to be protected. So that's the reason 16 and 18 are the more oncogenic type, and you can say 7 and 11. So that means if you are thinking that 6, 11 and 16 and 18, so what I mean to say that there are watogenic type and there are oncogenic type are there. However, these oncogenic 16 and 18, they are mostly responsible for cervical cancer. So I can say it is not a cervical cancer prevention vaccine, rather it is a HPV related disease prevention vaccine. So it is to be offered to both boys and girls irrespective of any sex. In India, HPV cannot be given to males. So already we discussed, no. HPV 9, Gardasil 9 is recommended in India up to 9 to 14 to the males. Sarvavac from Serum, that is also recommended 9 to 26 years, again with males. Gardasil, that is MST vaccine, which is recommended only in the girls from 9 to 45 years. So this is the way we have to offer. So now the time has come in office practice. Whoever comes at 10 years, so this is the adolescent vaccine. Each boy or a girl is going to get, along with your Tdap vaccine, 2 doses of HPV vaccine has to be offered. Now, in office practice, single dose of HPV can be given as recommended by WHO. Now, WHO has given a data that 3 dozen or more countries included NIP as a single dose. Now, that has not been endorsed by ACBIP or our national CDC, that they told that whatever way 9 to 14 years you go for 2 doses, and 14 year onwards 0 to 6 3 doses to be offered as of now. But Government of India is proactive in rolling over this HPV vaccine in our NIP. They had a MOU with Serum, and very soon the single dose vaccine, first it will be targeted to the girls and in the age group of 9 to 14, that is single dose. But as of now, we have nothing to say on that, because the trial, the clinical trial, the phase 3 trial has already been completed by Serum, and that is being deposited to DCGI, and now they are working on it. So till then we have to follow this. But once that is recommended, that may be a recommendation for the government sector. But in office practice, we have to follow strict guideline: 2 doses 9 to 14 and 3 doses for more than 14 years. Flu shots are to be given beyond 5 years in normal children. Again, just like PCV, the answer is no. Normal kids flu is given up to 6 months to 5 years. Once you start, you give 2 doses, then thereafter annual doses. The most important time where flu is given is around before the monsoon in India. beyond 5 years only to be given among high risk group. For an example, those who are immunocompromised like HIV or primary immune deficiency, or those who are having long-term immunosuppression like steroid or azathioprine or cyclosporin or mycophenolate mofetil, that kind of condition, we have to go for annual flu vaccination. Meningococcal quadrivalent vaccine to be given to all children as it is printed in many immunization cards. Again, this is being there for many a times. Those cards which are being supported by Sanofi and all or GSK, they write that 9-month one MCV and another 12-month another MCV, but it is for high risk only. 2 doses before 2 years and with 3 month apart is recommended. Above 2 years, they recommend a single dose. But however, this is to be given in again high risk condition like asplenia, then sickle cell anemia, or those who are having hypofunctioning of the spleen or complement deficiency. Just like pneumococcal vaccine is recommended, this vaccine is recommended in high risk population. So, dear doctors, there are endless myths are there which we are going to solve. And here we got an opportunity to solve a lot of myths which in our day-to-day life we come across. So facts has to be understood and that has to be told in the community in a bold language, not only in print media but also in audio-visual media like TV and whatever messages are being uploaded in YouTube and all. That creates a lot of benefit and confidence among the community people, so they will not hesitate to not to have the vaccine, because many a times the 10th year or 16th year booster they don't want to take, that they will tell if that will be there, so there will be pain and fever and the child cannot do normal activities for a period of more than 1 week. So this is a myth again. So any vaccine recommended at any age should be taken because it is free of cost in government of India. Only those vaccines are not have a placement in the government sector, that has to be taken from the private sector if there is affordability is not an issue. Only those who are having affordability issue, then definitely they should take at least those vaccines which are offered in the NIP. I will tell you that in Indian data, the full immunization up to 2 years is given and the percentage is near about 98%. But what about the thereafter? That means 5 year, 10 year, and 16-year booster is falling down drastically. And by the end of 16 years, the take of the vaccine of the fourth booster, that is as low as 10 to 20%. So we have to work with hand in hand so that no vaccine should be missed by any kids or anybody. And beyond 16 years, those who are pregnant, they should offer at least 2 doses of TD containing vaccine, start with TD and with Tdap, and 1 dose of flu vaccine is going to prevent flu not only in the mother but also the upcoming baby up to 6 months. So that is a very good. And we had given a lot of experience of giving COVID vaccine into the pregnant ladies, and that vaccine is no more used because now this COVID infection becoming a endemic. We are going to live with the COVID. So that's why COVID vaccine is no more recommended, neither by overseas travel or in the country itself. So with that, I will tell immunization is for all ages. No age is a bar. Previously, it has been told that immunization chapter is limited to the kids, and whenever the kids are growing, the first 5 years is more important. Thereafter, vaccination is not important. It's not. Now we are getting the outbreak of diphtheria in cases like Raigada district and Koraput district and I can say Koraput district and Kalahandi district. So all those 3 districts, there is outbreak of diphtheria, and it has been seen those who are nil immunization. That means they are outreach pockets. Even if they are going, the persons, those who are interested to give the vaccine from government portal, so they are going on the Wednesday, but at that point of time, the mothers used to carry their sibling into the forest for the earning of the food from the forest. So that's the reason they are not available. So that's why they are zero. So they have not taken a single dose of DPT containing vaccine. And that's the reason fully unimmunized or those who are having less than 3, they are more prone for diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. And that's the reason we are getting sporadically some cases of tetanus, and there is an outbreak of diphtheria in Odisha, in this southern part of Odisha. And our government system is now monitoring that with the help of government of India. And a lot of people are stationed there, doctors are stationed there. Any child who is having fever and sore throat, immediately the throat swab is sent to the RMRC Bhubaneswar, and now near about 6 or 7 children below 5, they have died because of the diphtheria, and 4 children they died before the diagnosis, and 2 cases, those who were having diphtheria positive by the Albert Stein, they died because of the heart failure, because of the toxin mediated myocarditis. So that led the life. But however, the government is proactive now. Those who have not taken, like Indradhanush mission, Indradhanush, they have been taken up and intensified mission Indradhanush, you say, or whatever ring immunization, they are being offered as per the age. Below 7 years, DPT vaccine; above 7 years, TD has been recommended in the dose of 016. Those who are completely immunized, completely unimmunized, or immunization status is not known, they are given. There is an outbreak of hepatitis A in the Sambalpur western part of Odisha. So now government is thinking how to contain that hepatitis A outbreak. So every time I can say one line, that vaccination is the best gift to any age group. So at any age group, any vaccine can be given, but as age appropriate vaccines should be taken by a individual, and it is the priority of our kids before going to school. They should complete their age appropriate vaccination. If this is being followed by all of us, then definitely we can minimize the under 5 mortality to a great extent. And definitely it is an oath taken by all of us, dear doctors, that if we are interested, if they are coming for diarrhea or scabies or pneumonia, at least we say why you have not taken. If you have not taken, please ensure that this vaccine will be taken in the next opportunity whenever your child is be comfortable and came out from this illness. So that's all about the topic, that solving the vaccination myths. So thank you, doctors, for your nice entry into this platform or knowledge platform. If there are any questions, I will request Arpita to ask me. Otherwise, we are going to end this program. So these type of program are being done by many platforms like Planet, and now IJCP has also taken proactiveness in disseminating this knowledge to all doctors pan India. So I must thank the team of IJCP as of now, Arpita and your team, and thank all doctors, those who have logged in. Thanks a lot. Namaste. Jai Jagannath.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the beautiful talk. Now, we have already received a few questions. One or two I will
Yes.
take from them. So, first question is, how do you handle adverse reaction to vaccines and reassure patients about their relative rarity and management?
Okay, so this is a good question because no vaccine is 100% safe. As in the prime line, I have already told. So if there are any adverse effect following immunization, that is 1 month time has been taken, but some reaction can occur after 1 month as well. So always remember, you have to decide what type of AFI it is. Is it a minor event, or it is a serious, or it is a severe event? Any serious, that means always remember the formula of CDC. What I will tell, that if you remember that uh, uh, so CDH, that means C for any cluster, any AEFI that occurs in cluster, any AEFI that causes disability or death, or any AEFI that causes hospitalization, or any AEFI that causes media hype. In those conditions, it is to be reported to immediate DIO. So district immunization officer or state immunization officer, the mobile number you should keep in your mobile. If any time any AFI occurs either in government sector action or either in office practice, the information should go to them immediately. Now there is a AFI committee at district level and at state level. So that is their duty. They will come and investigate it, whether it is causally related or whether it is a coincidental reaction. So that will minimize a lot of panicness amongst the community. So that is the first time. And second, if there are any swelling after pertussis containing vaccine in is there, then local reactogenicity, then that doesn't come under serious or severe. So definitely you have to manage with paracetamol and ice application. For an example, if there is a febrile convulsion after a vaccine, MMR vaccine or pertussis containing vaccine, then you have to go with the management of that seizure immediately, and thereafter paracetamol has to be given as long as fever is there. So minor AFI may not be reported, but however, any severe and serious, I have already told, severe means suppose I say there is a big suppose diphtheria containing vaccine or TD has been given at 10 years, and there is a big erythema is there. And on history, the child or the kid has taken many TD containing vaccine in the past, and because of more amount of antibody, antigen antibody progen phenomena, so it occurs there that there is type 3 reaction, Arthur's reaction, that comes under your severe reaction. So again, severe reaction has to be managed and has to be reported. So any serious or severe, it is better to report immediately to DIO and has to be managed. Suppose by chance you are having anaphylaxis in your front, so all vaccinator in your office clinic should have a AEFI kit. It is not costly. One is oxygen cylinder, another is NS or DNS a line, then another is injection, adrenaline injection, hydrocortisone injection. I will, this much has to be there, so that at any point of time, at least in anaphylaxis, you can inject one dose of adrenaline undiluted intramuscular, which can save a life. We never know, at any component you may develop anaphylaxis. So that is my take. Over to Arpita.
Right, sir. Thank you so much. Related question, there is another. How might recent outbreaks of disease like measles and pertussis influence vaccination practice?
Always remember, the outbreak is very rarely seen after two doses. So now I will tell measles, the outbreak has minimized to great extent after two dose measles. The first dose is given and you see 80% seroconversion will be there. Whatever 20% that is on a primary vaccination failure. So in order to accommodate that, the second dose has been recommended. Now you must be knowing that almost live vaccines viral, they are being recommended in a two-dose schedule. It is not that the first dose is not acting, rather accommodating the primary vaccination failure, that will be accommodated in the second dose. So having said that, after two dose inoculation into the NIP, a lot of measles cases has been drastically came down. So for measles, in office practice, we are offering three doses of MMR vaccine, because at 9 months, 15 months, and 4 to 6 years. So after three doses, the measles is no more. Even after measles, if you get a case of measles, which is very, very rare, it will be a modified measles, and there will be some rashes will be there, and thereafter the baby or child will be recovered without any complication. But however, going to mumps is such a virus, even after three doses, it may not be fully immune. You may get a mild variety of mumps having parotitis even after three doses, but the chances are rare. Rubella is 100% or 99% seroconversion do occur with a single dose of rubella vaccine. So that's the reason why the IAP has taken up the two-dose schedule after 1 year and one dose schedule before 1 year. So altogether, it comes to three doses. So you can remember like this: one dose is good enough for rubella, two doses is good enough for measles, and three doses are nearly good enough for mumps prevention. Now coming to this, another you have asked that if you are thinking the pertussis. Now pertussis, the most important is booster. Whatever primary series is there, let it be by W or AP containing vaccine, doesn't matter. You have to go for 1.5 year booster, 5 year booster, 10-year booster, and 16-year. So that's the reason the pertussis containing is a must. But in office practice, you are having a TDAP, and that is the reason the TDAP can be offered in the school going. That means near about 10th year vaccine, and the 16th year vaccine can be given TD. But however, in government sector, the DPT is recommended up to 5, and thereafter TD, no AP containing or Asella pertussis containing vaccine is there. So whenever you get an outbreak of pertussis in a community, provided they have taken primary series, but they have missed the boosters at 1.5 year and 5th year, that's why they land up with pertussis. So that's the reason. So in bacterial toxoid containing vaccine, the booster is a must, because the waning immunity will be boosted by the giving booster. And however, in measles containing vaccine, you have to take care of more than 1 year, two doses of MMR has to be given. For an example, if I will tell, if I get a child of 4, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, doesn't matter, if they have not taken any measles containing vaccine in the past, then or one dose of measles vaccine at the age of 9 months and thereafter not, then I will give them two doses of MMR vaccine at least 8 weeks to 12 weeks apart. Subcutaneously, because it is a live vaccine, it is to be given. So my message is that for live vaccine, it is almost always nowadays we are giving two doses, subcutaneous live vaccine, almost MMR, varicella, like that. Only hepatitis A live vaccine is given as a single dose vaccine, and yellow fever live vaccine is given as a single dose. Wherever this pertussis containing, diphtheria containing, tetanus containing vaccine, the booster is important. So whatever may be the primary series, the booster. If there is a missed out booster in a 10th year, that booster, if you are giving for 16th year, that will be valid for 10 years. So that's why T containing, D containing, and P containing vaccine, we say it is up to 10 years. Over to Arpita.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for nicely addressing the topic, this question too. So, sir, as it is time, so I would like to conclude the session for today. But firstly, I would like to thank you for sharing insights on this very crucial topic and, of course, enlightening all of us with your knowledge. And, of course, thanks to all the audiences for joining the session, for putting up their questions and making the session a successful one. So, with permission from all of you, I would like to close the session for today. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Arpita,
giving us
for
your time.
yes, nicely moderating this session. Actually, this type of communication, whatever we are giving to all core doctors across the country, it is a beautiful way of disseminating knowledge. And as we all know, these type of seminars are not being sponsored. I mean, they are outweigh because we are interested to disseminate knowledge, just like students being teacher in government medical college, we are giving every day and night. So similar a platform, I always thank you and your total IGCP team for this type of activities. And always, whenever I get a call, so I am always ready. Whatever talk you want, and I am there to disseminate. So I wish all the best for the time to come, and all the doctors, those who have logged in, a lot of thanks from my side. And I hope you must have taken the take-home messages, which will be helpful in our day-to-day practice. If at all any point of time, any query will be there, I love that the message can go to IJCP or to me so that I can solve at that level. Thanks a lot. And again to Arpita and IJCP team and all the doctors, goodbye. Jai Jagannath. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We are honored.